If you are interested in swing trading crypto assets, not only Bitcoin and Ethereum, but also altcoins, this video is exactly right for you. I will share my swing trading plan on Bitcoin. I will share my swing trading plan on Ethereum. And I have also picked two altcoins where I found amazing swing trading potential. Actually, I found more than that, because what I've done this time is I made a post over here on X on my feed and I was asking for your feedback. Which altcoins do you want me to cover? And I received quite a lot of golden opportunities here. So I was doing analysis on all of these comments and I think that's something I want to do regularly. So I've picked two for now, which I will cover in this video, and the rest I'm probably going to cover over on my X throughout the next week. All right, so let's start with BTC here. And what we can see is that we, over the weekend or over the last week, we had a nice rise to the upside, nearing this big $96,000 level. For me, this is still one of the levels I'm very interested in for the short trade. This is an area for a swing trading short. So what I can do here is obviously identify the resistance confluence that we have here. This is a monthly MPOC. We have the previous range point of control, and we also have a CC lining up with this level perfectly. So that in itself is an amazing level to be interested in for a swing trade. Now, the luxury when looking for swing trades is that we don't have to snipe the absolute top of a move. So what I'm going to do is I am aware of the level at 96,000, or let's call it a range up to 97,500. I'm aware of this big resistance, but I will only execute my short trade if I see weakness. That means a lower time frame market structure change. So for this area, I can use this tool to see if it makes sense. For me, the invalidation is not above the all-time high. I would use an invalidation of somewhere around 102,000, because if we get up to here, I want to position myself with the new trade. And when it comes to swing trading, I have to identify good levels of support. And with that, what I always do is I identify my next area of interest for a swing trading long. So what I would like to do with these swing trades is to get into a short trade and then take that into my swing long target. I'm just going to keep it where it is and identify my swing trading potential for the long trade next. So for this, I even want to go up to a weekly time frame. I can hide this fixed range because I'm now aware of this resistance up here. My alert is placed. And then I can see, or something I have to acknowledge here when I look at the weekly time frame is the following. Overall, no matter if we even retrace down to $60,000 or $50,000, we can see overall this is a nice uptrend. This was our higher high, higher low. We made another higher high. So everything, even in between here, I'm not saying this is where we're going to go down to, but even this could be classed as a very high time frame, higher low. So nothing to get too bearish about on BTC, even if we see a long-term pullback. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if we do, this is nothing to freak out about and actually view this as amazing opportunities, right? I want to start on a blank chart here to identify the next best level. Typically speaking, I would always say the best level is this previous high on a retest. Now that we come so close to this level, I no longer consider this the best level. So I'm looking for something else. One thing I always love on crypto in general is anchored VWAPs. So this is pointing towards an area between $56,000 and $60,000, because we do have to expect this anchored VWAP to move to the upside. Okay, so the more time we spend up here, the higher this anchored VWAP is going to move. So one thing I also have to do is check this high time frame volume just to include everything. And then I'm already going to see that this is a beautiful confluence that we have at around $57,000 at the moment. This is not only the uptrend anchored VWAP, it is also this big range point of control. So for me, it's now time to look at high time frame levels as well. We can see there is so many on this chart, but I do only want to look at a couple. So I'm going to pick these No, let's do these. So this is the most important levels I'm looking at. For me, my next swing trading potential on BTC is coming in between $62,000 all the way down to 58. So one more positive thing about swing trading is that we don't have to snipe the absolute top or bottom of a move. So what you see us doing in the scalp trading, live trading streams is try to snipe the absolute high. But when it comes to swing trading, we have the luxury to be more patient and actually wait for a sign of strength down here. And we can also wait, or we can also look at a larger zone. So this means I don't really have to decide between 62 and 58,000. I know this is my zone of interest, and the moment we hit this zone, I will be starting to accumulate a long position the moment I see strength. All right, so with that being said, I can already identify this down here as my swing short target. Once again, I'm not saying this is definitely gonna reject here, but if we do, this would be my high time frame target down here. And then I can also analyze the price location down here. I like to do this with the .25 range tool. And I can see the .75 is also lining up at around this zone. So for me, it's very simple to identify that this is my next big swing trading potential on BTC. So if we get down to 62, all the way down to $58,000. This is nothing to be fearful about. This is nothing to freak out about. I'm viewing this as a massive potential to build a nice long trade on BTC. And yeah, I don't even want to complicate it, overcomplicate it. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm just going to check this channel once more. And yeah, that's also at around this middle of this very high time frame channel that I shared over on my X a couple of days ago. So yeah, in my opinion, amazing confluence at around this zone. And this is where I'm interested in a nice and big swing trade on BTC. I'm now going over to one altcoin that I found for very good swing trading potential as well. I'm gonna share with you which one that is throughout this video, maybe a little bit later, but already let me know in the comments if you can see just from the blank price action if you know which chart that is. So I got a lot of requests for Solana, but Solana I already gave a public swing trading trade here. So that was over on a YouTube stream that I done. And from down here, we are already up 60%. Same for LTC. Okay, so this from entry is up 25%. And now I'm going over to something where I can, or where I have identified new swing trading potential. So let us have a look at this blank chart here. Okay, we have to always build the context before looking for a trade in either direction. Okay, so I remember looking at this chart right here. We formed this massive range. We had a nice run to the upside and we retraced a lot of this. So one thing I wanted to see is this low to be taken out, because only if that low was taken out, I can say to myself that this is enough. We have taken the liquidity and we might be in for a little bit of a bounce. So we saw we had an initial bounce down here. It didn't end in massive strength, but what I'm actually seeing down here is that now there's a lot more strength coming in, because on the daily time frame, I can see that after forming this low, we formed a higher high, higher low, another higher high. So on the daily time frame, I can class this as a confirmed market structure change. So that already is a very important information in terms of the context building. And now I have to look if there's actually something where I'd be interested in building a trade. And this asset right here is actually one of these examples where it's, yeah, it couldn't be more educational than this, because that is one asset where, or one altcoin where I like to build a position. All right, so that means I have two amazing areas of confluence. I don't really want to decide on which one it's going to be where we find support, and instead I'm going to buy both of these levels, expect an overall move to the upside, and I simply want to ladder into this trade. So If I look at my high time frame levels, I can already see that I have a weekly below, a daily and a monthly level below. In terms of additional confluence, it's not making my decision easier, because we do have a stacked confluence up here with a weekly NPOC and a weekly, down here a daily, monthly and daily NPOC. So for me, this is why I said I want to build a position. I don't want to decide on which one it's going to be. Okay, that in itself is already amazing information, but I also want to see where are we in terms of the bigger picture. So what price is doing here is actually trying to reclaim this massive range value area low. This can be classed as a really nice sign of strength. All right, that just in confluence with this daily market structure change leaves me to believe that we have great swing trading potential on this asset. So once again, these for now are my two areas of interest. I'm using another tool, which is this uptrend anchored VWAP. And this is pointing towards this upper confluence. So what am I going to do here? I am going to build a position. My first entry is going to be in between this zone. So in between this uptrend anchored VWAP from this low up to where we are now. On the weekly NPOC, this level doesn't have to hold, because what I'm not going to do for a swing trade is use this as my invalidation. This doesn't make sense, so I'm using a wider invalidation of down here, and my next entry is going to be at this confluence zone down here. So let's say, for example, price is moving into my first level. I'm taking my first entry, and then we get my second entry as well. I'm in my swing trade. This is leaving me with an average entry of the middle, so in between these two trades, or these two positions that I was building here. My invalidation is going to be below this local low down here, and I am targeting, because this is based off the context that we are reclaiming the previous range value area low, I am targeting at least a full value rotation into this massive range value area high. And with an average entry of down here, this would give me about 130% profit to the upside. This is just potential, but this is the trading idea, leaving me with a 3.6 to 1 risk to reward ratio. In terms of the stop loss, I obviously have to adjust my position size, because in terms of percentage, the stop loss is rather big. But yeah, to me, that is great swing trading potential, and also very, very helpful to see, in my opinion, how to build a position if we have two good levels of confluence, and the underlying context is that I think the low is in on this asset. If you know which one it is, as I said, let me know in the comments. I will reveal that throughout the video. So next thing I want to analyze is Ethereum. And on Ethereum, we have this price action. I need to cover a couple of things here first, and then have a look at this chart. So Ethereum doesn't look as bullish as BTC, because on this last impulse to the upside, we did make a new all-time high, unlike BTC, obviously. Okay, so there's one very important thing to see or to look at here on Ethereum, and that is we had this massive trend line. So that was even at start of 2020, we formed this uptrend here, and this trend line has been respected throughout the years. Now we finally lost this trend line. So for now, there is nothing to be too bullish about on Ethereum, but at the same time, I have to identify that the context is changing significantly the moment we reclaim this trend line. And actually, there's going to be a video coming out this week on how I am trading momentum, and this is exactly what I would be doing on Ethereum if we reclaim this massive trend line, because down here let me see which one it is. We do have additional confluence, as that is also the reclaim of this massive range point of control. So the moment we reclaim that, I am not really interested in fading the move, and I am rather looking for momentum trades to the upside. So for me, I now have to identify a target of where I'm interested in the short trade. On the swing trading side of things, sometimes when we pop in these high time frame levels, it looks a little bit crazy. So we have all of these levels. So I have to decide for the best ones. For that, I always like to look at volume. Something that is already painting a clear picture here is that if we were to do this entire massive range value rotation, this would have a target of 3,000 and let's just say 400. This is also the previous range point of control if we look at this as a smaller range. If I pop in the Fibonacci tool for good price location, we can see this is on the 7.5. So in terms of the swing trading potential on Ethereum, I can easily identify as 3,400 as a massive level of resistance where I'm interested in or where I am interested in a swing short. This would have a target of below $1,000 because my next swing long trade would only be if we SFP this low at $882. Remember, when we look at swing trades, this is very high time frame. So sometimes it takes weeks or even months for us to reach these swing trading entries. Okay, but if we do, we are ready, prepared, and we are going to take the trade. Okay, so I have done my analysis, I have done my plan, and if we reach either of these levels, I know exactly what to do. This is also giving me the freedom of in between. I don't have to care too much of what's happening on Ethereum. Okay, so let's summarize real quick my swing trading plan on Ethereum. Okay, the first and foremost important thing to understand here is if we reclaim this, I'm looking for momentum trades to the upside, not too interested in fading the move. This is important. First, swing trading potential on Ethereum in terms of the short trade is all the way up at $3,400. I know this sounds crazy, it's very far away, but I can be selective, and this is my next level of interest to the upside for a massive swing trade. In terms of support to the downside, this level is going to be taking out $1,000, very similar to what we have done on Solana. On Solana, we have finally taken out $100. In my opinion, it looks very similar to if Ethereum was taking out 1,000, to be honest. And we can clearly see what happened down here. We had great support down there. 100 was taken out, SFP of 100. Since then, price is just going up and up. So that's exactly what I'm looking at on Ethereum. All right, so yeah, let's reveal the first one that I was looking at actually. And this coin, some of you already know this probably by looking at this chart, because some of you obviously requested this one, and it is Jasmy against USD Tether. All right, so Jasmy is the asset for this nice swing trading potential here. But I do want to have a look at one more. And once again, if you can guess this coin, let me know in the comments, because I'm sure some of you can do that just by looking at the plain price action. Okay, so let's have a look at this one right here. Once again, for the context building, I do want to start on the weekly time frame. And this looks, I don't know, it doesn't look amazing. We gotta admit that. We had this nice monthly uptrend and then price crashed. Okay, so from all-time high all the way down to here, this was a 95% drop to the downside. For me, it's actually very unlikely that I am looking for a swing long trade unless we take out the massive previous low. However, this asset is actually different because I found amazing confluence here. So let's go down to the daily time frame and see what we have in terms of the levels and in terms of the confluences, and then ultimately what trading setup we have on this asset right here. So in terms of high time frame levels, I had a very easy time to identify the best levels, right? So we do have a monthly. This is projecting into the future that we're going to close the month at least above this level, but we only have, I think it is 3 days left, so I'm quite confident that this is gonna be the case. All right, so other than that, we do have a weekly naked point of control lining up with that level as well. And in terms of massive range volume, we can see we had the move into the value area low, we have reclaimed this massive range point of control, and voila, this is lining up with this level as well. So very easy to identify the best level of confluence down here. This is then also lining up with the CC, so we have everything. Context is good, the confluence is good, price location is good. So for me, what else can I do other than look for a swing trade at this area? This would be a swing long. I'm placing an alert for down here, and I would at least target a full value rotation. So this means my first target would be the this massive range value area high. Ultimately, I would even like to keep this trade open for as long as I can into a new all-time high. I don't want to be too optimistic yet, but even with this previous massive range demand that we have at around this zone, this is leaving me with the potential of a 400% increase in price. That compared to a risk of 47%, obviously I have to adjust my position size with that big of a stop loss. But once again, this is nearly a 10-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So for me as a trader, I have everything I want to see at this level. I just have to go for it, right? So yeah, this is what I'm going to do here. Alert is placed. One more thing to make you aware of is that there was two more amazing swing trading potential, okay? One of them was Sui, which I will post throughout the week on my X account. And there was one more, which is Flocky. So 1000 Flocky is the perpetuals on Bybit. I'm gonna share this asset as well, okay? Or the swing trading potential that I see there. I can see it's been requested many times, so for that I'm going to share it throughout the week. You can let me know what you think about that, and yeah, for my next altcoin videos on YouTube, I do want to make it a thing that you can let me know which altcoins you want me to look at, and then I will happily take a look and we can find the best swing trades, low time frame trades, whatever it is, whatever the charts offer us. So I think that's a great way to yeah, stay ahead of the market. And for those of you who have already guessed, this asset right here is Popcat. So we had a lot of fun trading Popcat. This is another amazing setup. So if you ask me, now it's about being patient to look for these or wait for these massive targets to hit and then load up some nice swing trades. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you think about this structure of a video. And yeah, then see you in the next altcoin or crypto videos in general. Bye bye.